It's our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered! You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
Happy Monday, everybody. What's up? Welcome into a very unique episode of the Bostonian versus the book. Matt Perrault, Dave Sharapan. I'm in Vegas. Dave is in Arizona. As you guys who are watching it live on YouTube and Twitter, you can see Dave where he is. Dave, where are you?
We're at the Marriott Canyon Villas up in basically North Scottsdale Desert. It's the JW Marriott sister party next to it. Wow. So we're at the pool. We got things situated. I had 10 total with my daughter's 3 nieces and nephews. We had a little get together yesterday. My dad was definitely looking down on all of the family chaos. My brothers and sisters and brother-in-law were very much happy to be partaking in some libations. And it was chaos last night, but it was good family chaos. So today everybody's sleeping, and I'm out doing a show by the pool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And no one's up. It's good. So we're going to do this for an hour plus or so. If you guys are watching it on the replay for on Sports Grid, it won't be the full normal show. We'll do about an hour plus, and then we'll do some best of stuff on Sports Grid live on YouTube and Twitter for you guys. Chat's rolling. Dave is not looking at the chat today, just FYI. So I will, if you guys have any big news announcements or anything you want to pass along, I'll do so. Bonvi just made the announcement. He's coming to Vegas in September. So
Bonvi's coming to Vegas in September. That is outstanding. Hopefully anyone else that's coming to Vegas in July, August, or September that's going to sign up for the Brigade Proxy Service and sign up for the contest. Don't forget, you can do that with us. Bonvi, I can't wait to meet you, see you. That'll be awesome. There may be some other people coming in September, that first weekend of the NFL. There's some rumblings in the Discord. What's the Discord channel again, Chris?
BVBshow.com for our Discord channel. And yeah, you're right. I mean, we do know that the Breadmen are coming in that weekend. And we may have something percolating as well for us that weekend. So stay tuned for what is going to happen here in the month of September. But before we move to today and beyond, I have to ask you, because you were brave enough to go down there to the Strip, in the middle of the chaos. Before you drove 3.5 hours to Arizona, you decided to go and subject yourself to the traffic of the Vegas Stanley Cup Championship Parade. Walk us through the day. What time did you leave? How long did you stay? How long did it take to get home?
Before I get to that, I just want to let you know that the only people I've interacted today with at the pool, guy comes in wearing a Patriots Champions hat. That hat, but in white. He's sitting right behind me. His wife is wearing a bikini T-shirt. They're senior citizens.
Oh, okay.
He's from Israel, Massachusetts.
Excuse me?
Israel.
Excuse me?
And
where is Israel,
Massachusetts? It's right outside of Boston. That's what he said. I don't know. Maybe he's from Israel, and now they live in Norton. I don't know.
That's it. Yes, he's from Israel. Yes,
maybe
that's what it is.
Yeah, that's it. He's from Israel, the country. He said Israel, Massachusetts, but he was very hard to understand.
Okay,
he's from Israel.
He's from Israel, and they live in Norton. That is outside. That is South Shore. Outside of Boston, about 30 minutes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and she grew up in Boston.
Okay.
And she's got the sass, all of it. I'm trying to get her to come on the show.
Oh.
I saw her. Oh, they're playing Name That Tune with Disney channels. Those women walking around. So if they sing a song or playing a song and you guys know it, put it in the chat. You can hear it because I'll win a prize.
Okay.
That'd be great because I'm not paying attention.
Okay.
And then the guy's cutting a tree over the golf course. Is that loud?
It's all background noise. We can hear you. It's fine.
Right.
I mean, we hear it, but it's background noise.
the parade. Let's put it like this. We decided, I was against it at the beginning, and the kids were adamant. I'm impressed. Their will to wear us down, it still works. So they wore us down, and we agreed that we would go, but we would only go via the public transportation. So we went to the casino, we went to the Santa Fe, and took the bus down. 4:30 bus. The parade didn't start until 7. So we got down there, walked around. They had everything closed. We went up, over, around, down. I know my way around down there, which is good. So we get to a spot, center, right next to the Channel 13 stage and area where they're going to broadcast from, with a big boom camera. And I say, we're stopping here. Now, there's nobody there. There's not nobody there, but there's nobody where we're at when I get there. Now, I know from working in TV and stuff, there's not going to be anybody in front of us because we have the rail and we have the camera guy right in front of us. So I said, trust me. Well, we want to go closer. And I'm like, no, we don't. We are going to be fine. We have a TV screen to our left. We have the TV screen right above us. And we have this area where no one is going to be around us because it was hot as hell.
Right.
And it was going to get very, very, very crowded. And people were wired. You understand? Like, wired. Yeah. They were, everybody was really excited. So we stood there for 5 hours.
Oh, Kendall too?
5 hours the whole time. Kendall sat.
Okay.
And at one point we sent Kelsey and her friend Liv to get food because everybody was kind of wilting. It was getting a little bit like, something. The first round of drinks, I bought one Bud Light, big tall one, and 5 waters. Guess what the over-under was? 5 waters, bottles of water, Aquafina. No, not Aquafina, Dasani.
I'm going to say $75.
$60.
Yeah.
1 can of beer and 5 waters.
Yeah.
$60.
Sounds right.
Yeah. And then we got a pizza, and we ate pizza.
Standing?
Before. Yes. Everybody.
Yeah, the troopers.
Yeah. Well, Kelsey's still feeling the effects of it with her back. She's sore. But we didn't move. The amount of vape, weed, and cigarette smoke in the air was to the point where I almost went out. People were passing out or going down around us.
Really?
Non-stop. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a very congested area.
Yeah.
There was no airflow.
No.
It stopped, and it got very hot. The people were, the medics did an unbelievable job. The police did an unbelievable job. There was no incidents, although we almost had a woman fight behind us.
Yeah, there was one fight. There was one fight where Metro had to jump in and bust it up, but really, for the most part, it was pretty clean.
Yeah, it was. Did
you guys stay for the speeches?
We were there the entire time. We didn't see the parade.
Okay.
But we saw. I think he wants to get on the show. I'm not sure. It's more than welcome if he wants. The speeches were awesome, and we could see that we were directly in front of them. They were directly in front of us. It was weird because when you're there live, you hear it different than what you see and sound.
Right.
The kids saw right through all the politicians speaking at the beginning. They were like, "What is this? What?" Kylie's like, "Are they going to just let anyone else talk?"
Right.
Everybody gets a key to the city. Like, what's And I was like, "You're getting it. That was fun." I went home and watched the broadcast later. You saw the broadcast. Yeah. What did you think of the broadcast? Because it was hit and miss a lot.
I didn't care. I mean, it's just a bunch of talking heads talking about things that they know nothing about. But William Carlson was the story that anyone and everyone has been talking about. I mean, he fell down the stairs coming out. So that was a riot to watch. 2, some woman tried to yank him off the mic multiple times as he started to swear and started to do gyrations and started to just talk about, the fact that he was just hammering Arizona. We played the first game. We beat the bleep out of them in the first game. And then he said, I didn't have a point, but in year 1, I was fucking awesome. was the funniest. Like, that was just like, wait, what? That was 6 years ago, dude. What are we talking about? And then they tried to yank him off the mic. Like, that was for everyone watching at home. Could you tell how drunk he was?
Oh, it was kind of awkward when you're there because
The kids?
you could see. Well, no, like, I mean, immediately my daughters were like, "Wow, he's really drunk, Daddy." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And the woman came from the side. She's a PR for the Knights,
Right.
and I saw Carp commented on her. Her name's Kim Clark.
Oh,
and it was obviously somebody tapped her and said, "Get him the mic off."
Yes.
And at first she could not.
No,
And
you wouldn't give it to her. It was awesome.
It was. It was one of the rules of broadcasting, is it not? Like, never give away the mic. I remember being taught that in school.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially when you're drunk and you're in front of everybody, and this is your moment. I mean, that was William Karlsson's moment. He was not giving the mic up to anybody. Like, he had to be forced.
Yeah,
Marchessault had to force him to give up the mic. And then, I mean, Channel 8 released a video this morning where they followed him around the entire time. And you understood why he was as wasted as he was, because it's basically him just drinking alcohol for 4 or 5 hours.
Oh.
Like, he drank the entire time. Like, he always had a drink in his hands. He was hammering things out of the cup the entire time. I mean, he was absolutely lit up. And by the time you guys got to the 8:30 speech, he was 3 sheets to the wind. He was out. And so, like, giving him the microphone was dangerous as is. And then you got what you asked for. I mean, that was worth the price of admission to hear him speak like that.
I'll tell you what, it was such a, I mean, going into it, I was like, this is going to be chaos. There were more kids there, Perrault. There was
great.
families there. It was like, it didn't feel like the Strip on Saturday night, at least at Toshiba.
Well, they closed it off. It hit capacity. They closed it off.
Well, I can tell you this. I had to wear earplugs. The booming sound system was deafening. The smell of everything gave me a beyond. I mean, not that I thought I was having another stroke, but my head started getting that feeling again.
Okay.
I was like, what is all this? So I'm terrible with the loud cross noise.
Right.
In the mix of the smoke. It was really, that was part of it was rough, but the crowd was great. The parade looked and sounded awesome when I saw of it later. I mean, it's a parade. Everybody's waving at people going by, and it's done. And then, I don't know, it was one that I think, like, Kendall turned to me at one point. She's like, when is this going to be over? She's not.
Wow.
And she was like, all right, I'm not impressed. I've seen enough. She was more impressed. I think she ate 4 pieces of pizza. She was starving.
Don't blame her. It's a long time standing around.
It was a long time standing around, and it was a lot of, for a while until we really established the space. There was a lot of bumping. There was a lot of touching. Kylie and Jessica were like, we're not moving. Everybody was trying to push us up in the railing.
Oh.
And, because we had that, you guys have more room. No, we don't. And we kept some space. So it was good, man. And the bus rides to and from are awesome. It was.
Oh, so it was easy to get out?
Oh, it was spectacular.
Whoa.
I don't know if I'll ever go again and drive that. Because if you live here, if you live in Vegas, you get $1 down and $1 back as the bus ride.
Yeah.
From any one of the surrounding casinos that offer the service. Drops you off less than a block from the arena. Like, you just get out, you turn, you walk left, walk in. As soon as the game's over, you come out, you show them the stub, and you're home. It was great. I loved it.
That's huge, because the traffic on Flamingo was absolutely epic.
We were driving out, and when you're on the bus, you're in the carpool lane, and you're in the bus lane or whatever. You go by all of it, and I kept saying to the kids, like, good call with the bus, and that saved us. Sitting in the traffic after would have been terrible.
Would have been terrible. I mean, people were all over social media going like, this is horrific. Like, I'm stuck. I can't move. There's nowhere to go. So that was a big fallout for people just coming down there. And I mean, look, mostly that was locals. One thing I did like to see, I was wondering, like, all right, it's Saturday night on the Strip. Are this going to be a bunch of just people coming in? And for the most part, I mean, just from the video that I saw in the live shots, it was all Knights fans. I mean, it was all people decked out in Golden Knights gear and people who were really ecstatic up and down both sides of Las Vegas Boulevard. And, there were 15 buses. They stopped a ton. They brought the cup out. They let people drink out of the cup. Yeah. They really made it, a pretty cool event for people who were willing to trek down there and be a part of it. So it was cool for the first one ever, for the first time Vegas ever put it on. I think it was pretty neat. And, as people were in the chat are comparing it to what happened with Denver. I mean, Denver did it with the Avalanche last year, 2 years ago. So they had some experience already with planning and setting it up, and we've never done anything like that before. I mean, kind of with the Aces, but that was 5,000 people with the Aces. That was nothing compared to what we saw.
Was there a number announced for this thing?
I haven't seen a number. No,
if
but I'm guessing.
Have seen it, put it in the chat, because
I'd say 100,000.
Okay.
I'd say 100,000 people were down there for it. I mean, it would be my gut reaction just looking at it. Maybe more, maybe 150. I mean, there was a lot of people. One at Jasiba Plaza. I'm not sure what capacity is for. That was at least 50,000 people in and around where you guys were.
Man, it was tight.
That was a sea of humanity all in there. Everyone squished together for all those times. And then you had everyone else along the parade route on both sides of the strip for it. So it was, I mean, the live coverage was pretty cool. I mean, I think a lot of the local newscasts had to learn a thing about wireless communication, and those cameras kept on cutting in and out along the parade route. But for the most part, it was a pretty cool thing to watch and cool. I'm flipping through the different channels and different coverages, and Channel 13, I was watching that a bit locally here in town. It was fun. I mean, it was neat for the first time ever to see that. I didn't have any fear of missing out, though. I wasn't like, oh, man, I want to be there. I was like, nope, I'm good. William Karlsson was the highlight.
I think it's a one and done for me and Jess. I got to be honest. Like, the next time, the kids will go. Like, they'll be old enough, although, they left the chant back to back.
What was that? That was the awkward, like, what was Bruce Cassidy doing? One, you can't really lead a chant, but two, you really want to make that declaration like that? He was trying to do like a Belichick type of thing. It didn't work.
No, it was very strange. I mean, I don't know if the fan base has like totally warmed up to him. I don't know if he has. It's so
they don't know who he
awkward.
is.
Like
they don't know who he is.
It's so true. Like when he was there, and he seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
But like when Stone spoke, it was so genuine.
Right.
It was so real. That was the loudest reaction. That was the one that got everybody. Karlsson, everybody felt like you were at a wedding, and the awkward brother was giving a speech that was long, and you're like, "What is he doing?" Like, yeah. And then by the time it got to Marshall Show knew it was over. Like, it was like, "All right, thank you. We're out," and that was it. So, but the people want to hear from the players,
right?
Like all those other people before, between all the mayors of the city, and Goodman and Lombardo and all, like, it was like everybody's like, why are they talking? Just we want to see the cup and we want to see the players. The coolest thing was, do you remember when we were at the Super Bowl in LA and they did those things in the air, those floating things in the air?
Yeah, the drones.
The stuff they did with the Knights.
Oh, we saw it. Yeah, really cool.
Oh, that was, I mean, like
pre-programmed. Yeah, that was neat.
At night, I give Vegas credit again because I didn't think it was a good idea. It was so cool when it got dark and it was the lights and then the things in the air. I mean, the kids went nuts. They were like, oh, and everybody was taking pictures. That was one thing I think they'll definitely remember, the way they did it with the lights. That was fun.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, let's get to the weekend. It was a pretty busy one, not just with the parade happening, but with what happened yesterday. Wyndham Clark winning the U.S. Open and cashing some big tickets for a bunch of people who were on it, anywhere from 9-1, 30-1, 40-1, depending on when you came in and bet that guy. He hangs on. Rory comes up one stroke short. Rory he led the entire field in greens and regulation, but he didn't make a birdie over the last 17 holes of the golf course. I mean, it's kind of crazy. He just hung on. Is that
what that was? Really?
Yeah, he just hung on. Like, Rory just played solid golf. He just didn't hit a putt. He couldn't hit a putt. Right. If he hits one, he gets himself on 14. He made a mistake on 14 and made a bogey. and it really hurt him. And that's how he ended up losing the thing, because -10 won the tournament. That's where they started. They started at -10. They ended at -10.
My buddy, who I've met only once in person, Joey Toons, had, and I tagged you on it.
Yeah, I saw
he
it.
doesn't really do a lot of media, but I want him to come on and talk about what it sweats like for 100,000. He had a dime, total on it for
94,000.
94,000. He was going to win. He had 94 to 1. I was driving, so I left. Which, by the way, I mean, listen, I don't know if they're around. Trying to get all these women together and leaving the house. I literally went outside and just sat on the curb because I don't know what was happening in the house. We were supposed to leave at 10. Then we were supposed to leave at 11. We didn't leave until 1. I wanted to be here by the time the final round was going.
Right.
And we weren't. So I was driving and I'm watching. And then you go through periods on the drive to Arizona where it's just nothing. So then I'm like, oh, so like an hour later, you can finally get service. And you're like, oh, wow. Scheffler's out.
Yeah.
Ricky started bad. Like you're watching it. It was pretty apparent that it became a 2-horse race. By the turn?
Yeah.
By 9?
I mean, and then Clark blew up. I mean, Clark started to collapse at 15, 16. He started to really have struggles, and it was like, oh my gosh, he's going
to use of the gift, by the way, with the building collapsing. Literally laughed out loud funny. I'm like, oh no, Rory was going to win. Did you feel like Rory was going to win?
If he made a putt. I was waiting for the one putt, that one moment where the momentum, because he wasn't playing with Clark. He was in the group ahead of Clark. If Rory was playing with Clark, I think it would have put more pressure on him. But because he wasn't playing with Rory, it was his. He knew, whatever Rory does, whatever he posts for a number, I just got to go ahead and go and beat that. So Rory's bogey on 14 is why he lost the tournament, because all Clark had to do was par his way in, and he was going to win the U.S. Open because he knew that a birdie hadn't been hit by Rory McIlroy. So that's why it was a little bit anticlimactic, because it was more about like, okay, can Clark hold on when he was at 11 under and then he bogeyed to fall back to 10? It was like, uh-oh, is there another bogey over 16, 17, 18 for Clark? And there wasn't. And that's why Clark wound up winning the tournament. So, I mean, it's a cool story.
Were you watching the live number at all? Were you watching the live? Okay. I was watching it when I was going, when we were leaving, and we were still not far outside of Vegas, and just into Arizona, and you still have service. And I watched the number on Ricky go boom. Like,
yes,
it was so quick where he went from co-first choice or just second choice to gone. It was done. Like,
he
so
was
fast.
plus. I mean, he was plus 260 at FanDuel to start the day to win the tournament.
Yeah, and it became 25 to 1 like that, and then 50 to 1, and then he was off. And I was like, okay, so he's out. And Scheffler was third.
Yeah.
And then he must have done something at 6, 7, 8, or 9, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was done.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have service for a while. But
everyone dropped. I mean, it turned. Yeah, like we saw. I mean, I had my only ticket on Sunday that was live was Cam Smith to come in the top 10. And Cam Smith started the day tied for 11th. He wound up tied for 4th. Because he just posted a number and he climbed up, 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 up. He went 3 under on Sunday, and anybody who was posting a 67, 68 on Sunday, you were going to rapidly rise up the leaderboard because everyone was scoring 70, 71. That was pretty much the score across the way, that there just weren't that many birdies out there for the afternoon. Once the marine layer burned off, the course played much more difficult, and it was much more difficult to find those low scores on the course. So it was really kind of wild to watch that, because I'm watching Cam Smith and like they weren't showing anything of his shots because he was really far off the pace. But I'm watching it because I have the bet on him, and he's going up, up, up. I'm like, is someone going to show Cam Smith, please? Because he keeps on making these birdies. And he ended his front, but going birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey. It was like, my gosh, he was even. And then he had 3 birdies on the back, and he finished at 3 under par. I mean, the story of Wyndham Clark, I don't think got told as well as it should have been in a lot of ways, because the brother-sister hug on the 18th green, they were more obsessed about the putter, having Ricky Fowler's putter, than they were about the fact that he had just lost his mom and that this was on Father's Day and he was really having a tough time because that was his best friend and his mother had passed away. I don't know. It was weird because the crowd was a really big, I don't know if you saw about the crowds, but there was a lot of controversy about why the crowds were not there. A lot of controversy around the golf course. I don't think they're going to go back to LACC anytime soon. And
Right.
two, did you hear the rumor that the people who are members bought up all the tickets to not allow large crowds?
So I tried to buy tickets.
Right.
I was going to try to see one. I was going to pitch you. You drive. And we'll go because I've never been to a U.S. Open.
Right.
I've been to courses that have hosted it, but never the week that they hosted it. So I was like, you know what? That might be a fun little roadie. I know you got, getting rid of the kids. So I went to buy the tickets. It was $500 a day for the general admission. It's never like that. And it was very hard. It was limited. I'm like, what? This doesn't even make sense. I can only get this. And they didn't have a full, 4-dayer.
Right.
It had to be per day. And then it was like limited. And then the clubhouse passes. One day with the clubhouse pass was $2. Like that allowed you into the clubhouse and to walk the course and to go in the grandstand. I mean, the Phoenix Open it's $25. It's
right.
$25. Like
right.
regular golf course, you buy an admission ticket to walk the grounds. That's general admission. It's not supposed to be that expensive. So I knew,
especially the U.S. Opens, because it's the USGA. So the USGA tries to keep the cost down because they want as many people in as possible. Because to grow the game, for that matter. I mean, who knows how many 7, 8-year-old kids walk up to the, walk around with their dad and go, Daddy, I want to go learn how to play golf. I mean, it helps to grow the game of golf. And so there was, that has not been confirmed, but that was the big rumor on social media when everybody was like, where are the crowds? Like, what is going on? And it was out there that, yes, the members bought up all the tickets because they were not interested in a large crowd walking around their pristine golf course, which really is a stupid idea and why they should never go back to that golf course ever again if that's true for a major. I mean, look, a lot of the golfers didn't like it. I'll be honest, I didn't like it. I didn't really find it to be that great of a golf course watching on TV. So everything's different on TV than it is in person. But I wasn't overwhelmingly like wowed. I thought it looked like it's like a basic course. Like, yes, it's difficult. Yes, there was some cool, like, those 81-yard par 3 that was neat. There was a really long par 4, which was neat. But there wasn't like, I don't know, there wasn't any real character, I thought, to the golf course other than it looked old. It looked like an old golf course that you would play here in Vegas.
And I think, you get one first shot. One first impression in life, right? We talk about that all the time too. You get one first impression with people here. When you're watching the show for the first time, I ask you, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you do like it. If you don't, you go away. I don't know if they're coming back. I don't think we'll ever see or hear from Los Angeles LACC Country Club again. I don't think they're coming back.
Wow. According to BetSmart, according to Tyler, LACC was awarded the U.S. Open for 2039. Did they book that far out? That can't be right.
2039?
That can't be right, Tyler. You're kidding with that, right? They don't book out.
2023. That's 16 years from now. They already have it that booked. Wow.
I didn't know that. They do, but I mean, hopefully they change the golf course and hopefully they do some different things around it if they are going to have it again here in 16 years from now, the next time we go back, because not really a fan of it at all. To be quite honest,
I just had to do the quick math there and think, how old am I going to be in 2039? I'm like, holy cow, I'm going to be an old man then. I hope I can. Maybe I'll go to that one. If 2039, I'll take a ride and go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun weekend. It's always the story is usually about something to do with Father's Day or kid or family and all that other stuff. I didn't know that story. Now that you said it, I'll go back and look at it.
Oh, yeah.
I know when I left and I wished Pap, happy Father's Day. See you later. Thanks for keeping an eye on the dog while we're gone with Grandma. I said, who's going to win? And he's a huge golf guy. I mean, he grew up at Oakmont and played in Oakmont and he played it, and he goes, I'm rooting for Ricky, but Rory's going to win. And I think that was a lot of people's mentality, right?
Well, I mean, he hasn't won one in a long time. They put it in context on the broadcast. The last time that Rory won a major, Scotty Scheffler was a senior in college. So it's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen, a win like this for Rory. So, I mean, he said it afterwards. He goes, look, I just keep on coming in second and third place, and I'm going to keep on coming back until I win one of these. And so I don't know if he'll win his fifth major and retire or what, but like, he's definitely hungry to get another major. He wants it.
Well, we'll see. I know a lot of people had him, and not a lot of people had Wyndham Clark.
No, that was...
we got a couple, people that we know. And again, I'd love to have Toombs on because he's a character, but two, you pick up 100 dimes on something like that. It's just, that cures. I want him to give me all the. I told him in the tweet, I want all the college plays. I want all the season wins. He's an originator. Always has been. At Joey Toombs, guy moves money, moves numbers, and he's a good dude. So I'd love to have him on. I know the books did good. The books did all right with the Clark. I don't remember too many shows all week that led up to that said this guy's live.
No,
100-1 to start the tournament.
Yeah, people mostly were betting it in tournament. After on the turn. Right. After the cut, on going into Sunday, then okay, fine. Then you're jumping up and saying Wyndham. I mean, because frankly, Wyndham Clark going into Sunday, you could have gotten 9-1. So,
correct.
I mean, he was even into the. Nobody really believed he was going to hold on. He'd never been in that spot before. So,
right.
I mean, it was
fun to see, right? I think they said that was his sixth start in a major or something like that.
Yeah, really inexperienced, and I mean, look, he putted really well. He had a great short game. He did the things he needed to do to kind of hold off everybody because he took advantage of the course when it was really gettable on Thursday and Friday. And it was sort of like a Tiger Woods type of performance. Put up a number and make everybody come at you. Make everybody chase you down on Sunday, knowing how tough it is. And he just played defense, and he played defense well enough to win the thing at 10 under par. So, I mean, there was a big question we had on Friday. What was going to be the finishing score? Like, what were they going to wind up? What was the winning score? And many people thought it was going to be like 11, 12 under. Turned out to be 10. So that's somewhat surprising that we only got to 10 under to win the thing, which is okay for a U.S. Open. I'm okay with that. That's, 2.5 under per round. I'm good with 10 being the winning score.
Oh, yeah. Especially, I mean, a par 70 is different from the par 72, too.
Right.
Right? Like, so you got to take that into consideration because it's less par 5s. These guys destroyed.
They did.
I mean, like, it's incredible when you really watch and take time. The younger guys are just, everybody's better. They're just better.
Well, Fleetwood shot a 63. He shot the second. He's got 2 63s now in U.S. Opens on Sunday. He's got there's 3 rounds. He has 2 of them shooting 63.
Yeah, Johnny.
Yep.
Johnny
at Oakmont.
Miller?
Yep.
I said Johnny Miller. Yeah, at Oakmont. Yeah, they talk about that round. They talked about that. I knew about that round when I was born. Like, talking about, you remember Johnny Miller did it at Oakmont? I'm like, what are you talking about? He shot 63. This guy just did it randomly twice.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Well, you are in Arizona, which right now is the epicenter of the basketball talk world. As now, Kevin Durant gets to play with Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal chose the deal to go play with Phoenix over a multitude of other teams that were inquiring about his services. The Wizards get rid of the contract. CP3 goes to Washington. Let's start where you are in Arizona. Are you hearing anything about this? Because this seems to be like pretty big news here that you've got a big 3 with Booker, KD, and Beal now.
So Brother Smoke is here. He's dialed into the local stuff, and he watches the show, and he listens and watches other stuff. He goes, "This guy's going to win it. The Suns are going to win the championship in the next."
Oh boy!
Years.
Oh boy!
He said they're going to spend money. Owner doesn't care. They're going to do whatever they can. They got KD. They're going to kiss his ass, get him to pieces. There's no more excuses about he don't have the right guys. He don't have it. It's going to be kind of, I don't know, an all-in mentality every year, which is fine. And they're second choice in the West behind Denver, okay? And they're going to get bet. Who's playing defense, Perrault? I mean, you watch basketball. Who's playing defense?
I want to know who's the bench. It's not so much the defense for me. I want to know who's on the
Somebody
bench.
over here.
Yeah, right.
Here. There ain't nobody on the bench.
Nobody. I need to see, because you can have all these great superstars, but as we saw with the Nuggets, you got to have 2 or 3 pieces coming off the bench that can really help. And if you don't, you can't get guys who are veteran minimums or guys who are G League level players coming in. I don't care how many superstars you got in starting 5. You got to have a team. And Chris Paul now gone. That voice from the locker room is gone. Does he play in LA, Clippers, or the Lakers in your mind?
Wait, so he got traded to Washington, but he ain't going?
Well, he's not going to play there. They're going to buy him out. They're not interested. His contract's only $15 million. Chris Paul's not playing for Washington.
So Washington basically got nothing?
Correct. They wanted to get rid of the contract. It was horrific. The Beal contract was, he can't stay healthy, and they committed way too much money to him. They wanted the Suns, they wanted the cap flexibility, and with the Chris Paul deal, they may keep Shamet, but they're going to cut Chris Paul. Chris Paul's going to get bought out.
Is that what's known in the industry as an inside job, P-Ron? Like they got him the max contract like that, and then everybody's gone, and he trades them, and I mean, they help somebody out.
I think it's ownership with Washington making the mistake. They never should have given him the deal that they gave him. They were trying to placate their fan base. It's giving them a reason to actually go and watch the Wizards. So now they've just gone into full tank mode, and they'll be bad for a couple of years trying to rebuild, but they've got big cap flexibility now to go sign somebody if they want, or sign multiple players if they want.
That sounds like somebody spending the owner's money. That's
very
what that
possible.
sounded like to me.
Yeah,
Said, hey, we'll get you a max deal. We'll get you out of here in a year or 2. Don't worry about it.
Right. Very possible.
It's not going to work and whatever. And now you take Paul back to say you're taking the contract, and then you're going to let him go. Like, I don't know. It seems like bad business to me, and it is, I guess. But I don't know if it makes the Suns the automatic favorite to win the West. Everybody's advancing that one pretty quickly. I'm with you. No bench, no defense. Hold on.
Yeah, I need to see more of just what the roster is going to look like, and how it gels with the new coach and everything else going in. I mean, I'm going to be very curious to see how the betting market responds to this, because I feel like everyone's going to run to bet the Suns, and then we're going to be sitting here in 10 months going, well, that didn't pan out the way everyone thought it was going to pan out. There's a lot more competition. The West is tough. The West is not going to be easy, and so Beal leaving. I mean, as a Celtics fan, I love it. Get all the superstars into the Western Conference. Get them all out of here. I'm good with it.
Keeps happening that way. Like, it's just like, I don't understand why nobody wants to go and be the 3rd team in the East. Like, I guess it's hard to get somebody to go to Philadelphia right now. I guess it's harder to get somebody to stay in Boston. Or, I mean, they got that core. Like,
I mean, if Harden goes to the Rockets, I mean, if Harden winds up with the Rockets, it's another West. I mean, look at how many superstars. You have Giannis, you have Tatum, you have Embiid, and then what in the East? I mean, it's just, you're lacking all the superstar.
The Knicks.
Who on the Knicks is a superstar? Julius Randle? Come on.
No, I mean, I don't think they have a superstar, but they have a good team. Everybody keeps telling me the Knicks are going to be.
I mean, the Cavaliers have Donovan Mitchell, but like it's not in that upper first team, second team, all NBA type caliber player.
No.
So you have a lot of talent in the Western Conference, and from an Eastern Conference perspective, I love it. Make the path as easy as possible for the Celtics to get back to the finals. I mean, they're going to be the odds on. My guess is, as this continues, that the number for Boston is going to keep on dropping for them to win the East.
I used to sit in a room all summer and say, is there a better free agency? Like, baseball hot stove used to be the best.
It's good.
Right. NBA is the best free agency, is it not?
100%. It's been that way since LeBron made the decision. When he captivated everybody.
The Miami decision?
Yeah. On TV.
Oh, yeah.
Since the invention of the super team, the three-peat or the three-headed monster,
right.
Since that has been the thing, everyone's looking around for that again, right? LeBron made that. Everyone wants them to move. Kevin Durant then took the mantle. Every offseason, Kevin Durant comes in. I mean, I remember sitting a couple of years ago when Gordon Hayward made the announcement that he was joining the Celtics. I was on the Cape. I was on vacation. It was like I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I remember like running downstairs going, "Oh my gosh, Gordon Hayward just went to the Celtics." Like it's just my family was like,
and
what?
You were the only one excited about it.
No, my brother Colin and I are both big basketball people, so he really was psyched too. But like, I love Brad Stevens. I always have a very special place in my heart for Brad Stevens. I love Brad, and so he was getting Gordon Hayward. He was getting his college binky. I was like, this is phenomenal. Look at this. This is awesome. I mean, there is no better right now in terms of movement because the NBA is one or two players can change everything. I mean, it's the odds on Wembanyama going number one are ridiculous right now. Like he's going number one.
Yeah.
And then after that, everyone's debating about whether Scoot Henderson's going number two. So you've got not just the free agency market that's ablaze, but you also have the betting market on the draft, which is all the talk.
Right.
So
JY's doing a draft special with Kevin Walsh on Thursday.
Nice.
Talking about him. He's been texting me. I'm like, JY, I'm not interested. Like the NBA draft after the first 2 days, I got to be honest. Like it doesn't do anything for me, and the odds are so overwhelming. I'm always looking at everything through the odds,
right?
First and foremost,
yeah.
And it doesn't have the appeal. But there's going to be a ton of movement. There's going to be a ton of trades. JY keeps telling me. I mean, he is all over it. He's doing this prep. They're doing a live show in Atlantic City and all these things. And I'm just like, wow. The NBA free agency can change numbers. I just find it at least something to talk about in the summer.
Right.
Can you ever imagine saying to someone you're taking your talents to South Beach? Like, at what point would you say that about anything that you're doing? I'm taking my talents to lunch today. I mean, like, what?
It's why it was so memorable because you were like, wait, what? I mean, Jim Gray. I mean, LeBron is still mad about the way that was portrayed.
Why? He portrayed it.
Oh, he thinks he was done wrong by the media, the way that it was presented, the way that it was positioned. Yeah, he's mad at ESPN. He's mad at Jim Gray. Oh yeah, LeBron is still salty about how that went down. Yeah, he thought that it was his mastermind. He thought he had a whole idea for it, and then it didn't go down the way he thought it was going to go down.
My man said it. Like, he had that thing scripted out pretty good. It was at the boys' club, and he was donating the money and all this.
The horrible idea. The whole thing was a horrific idea.
Terrible. He was in that nice shirt, standing there all straight. I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. What?
And then it blew up. And it gave everybody just a huge, huge deal. So
I'm gonna hit Jessica with that later. I'm gonna say I'm gonna take my talents to lunch with you today. She's gonna
quick update because I'm not really happy about this.
What?
Tennessee is losing at the moment. 2-0 to Stanford, bottom 3.
Stanford's been impressive again.
I need Tennessee to wake up here a little bit. That's why I took Tennessee. I laid the -135 on Tennessee to win. I didn't do anything in the run line. Every game but one so far in Omaha, by the way, has been decided by one run. First time in history.
Absolutely electric. I was thinking that as I was watching the games on Friday, and I was like, man, this has been really good. It can't be this good again. Oh, no, it is. It's good again on Saturday. And we watched the games at home before we went to the parade. I didn't watch any of the games yesterday, but I saw the highlights, and I was like, this has been great.
It has.
Great baseball. I mean, fun, homers, good defense, crazy plays.
I mean, guys throwing 100 on the regular.
It's changing. Baseball.
They're just like
gas.
Yeah, throwing heat.
Yep.
You need to wear more Yankee stuff on the show, by the way.
I worked that out for you nice.
Please.
Right? It was a complete sweep. So every time they play, it's funny because I was going to wear the Boston stuff on Saturday.
Oh.
And because I thought we might have a couple signups, and I had to run down to the book, and I had to do some. And I was like, no, I better not, because they might lose.
Yeah.
So, I did get a text from someone that said, hey, stop wearing the Yankee stuff, please.
2 straight series the Red Sox have taken from the Yankees, and they just swept them in Boston, took both games of the doubleheader, and won on Friday. So it was a very, very good series. Red Sox, Brian Bella pitched really well for the Red Sox. The bats look coming to life here. It's nice. Red Sox are back over 500, and we'll see what happens. I might actually have a team to watch here. But one quick baseball or two baseball stories. We got a new segment in a second. But
Yep.
Did you see this story involving the Braves? And they cut a guy whose dad was supposed to throw out the first pitch.
I didn't see it
on
until
Father's
you
Day.
sent it. Yeah, I didn't see it until you sent it. Now,
Charlie
what is that?
Culberson was cut. Culberson was designated for assignment. The infielder's dad had been scheduled to throw out the first pitch. You think anybody who's 34 years old, had not made an appearance for Atlanta since being called up on May 19th. They thought it was going to be a nice moment for his dad to come up here and throw out the first pitch, and they cut him the morning before his dad was supposed to throw out the first pitch.
I mean,
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, so did he still throw out the first pitch?
Nope. They pivoted and they allowed the infielder for Michael Harris II to do it before the Rockies game. Harris went 5 for 5 in the game. The Braves won it 14-6.
Business is business, I guess, in this business. And man, that is an ultimate slap to the face.
That is cold. That is ice cold.
That's ice cold. Speaking of ice cold, did you see what my room was? The temperature in my room?
No.
I posted it. Yeah, I took a picture. I woke up literally with my teeth chattering, unable to feel my extremities. She had it down to 65 degrees in the room today.
In the hotel room. That's a confined space. That's cold. Yeah, that's cold.
I was under the vent too, and I was so cold. I slept in a hoodie with the hoodie over my head, and there was one blanket, and I didn't even share the blanket. And she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I can't. Do you understand? I can't be in these extreme colds like this." She said, "It's 65. It's 100 outside. It's enough." But that was cold. You're right. It was very cold for them to do it. It's business, I guess. That's it.
Yeah, it's funny because this morning in Vegas, if it's 100 in Arizona, that's wild because this morning in Vegas, the wind is howling today. Really? It was 65 degrees this morning. It was so windy that it's actually so windy I couldn't run today. I had to walk because it's so windy. Like it literally will blow you over.
Oh, yeah.
There's a high wind advisory all the way until 11 o'clock tonight.
Oh.
Warnings of trees being upended, hurricane gust force winds, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts coming through. So we might be getting the heat coming when you guys return. You might bring it back with you.
It's a little breezy down here, but I'll tell you what, the drive down, we took the Sharapan.
Nice.
It was blowing all over the place, and I did not drive. So I had fun saying, "Are you trying to stay in the lines or what?" And she's like, "It's the wind. It's the wind." And I kept saying, "The wind?" And I knew it was the wind because I drive the van too.
Right.
But I would love any chance I get to fire a shot across the bow. Yeah, I just take it. I'm like, just try to stay within the lines, please. It feels like we're all over the place. She was getting madder. But yeah, that was a good story. What's the next story with the baseball?
Well, the next story is our new segment. We are calling it Ohtani Watch.
Look at this.
Ohtani
You added
Watch.
this while I was gone. This is great. You love these little things. You just throw it in there. That was awesome. So we're going to talk about Ohtani every day.
Yeah, well, any day it makes sense. Sonic is too good. It's too good. So every day when there's something really to talk about, we will talk about Ohtani because Ohtani, our friend Ben Fox tweeted this out this morning. This is crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Angels stat leader for the seasons. Okay. Hitting, runs Ohtani, hits Ohtani, home runs Ohtani, average
That's
Ohtani, OPS Ohtani, RBIs Ohtani, stolen bases Ohtani. And what's RC? Runs created Ohtani. Pitching wise, leader in ERA, Ohtani. Leader in wins, Ohtani. Leader in Ks, Ohtani. Opposing batting average, Ohtani. Every single stat that's relevant. The Los Angeles Angels are being led by Shohei Ohtani.
This is going to be fun because we talked about the A's, and Joe C. Myers did a great job keeping track of that. And it kind of kept him involved, one, in the show, but two, and he said, I learned more about the A's and watched more A's baseball than I ever did in my life.
Amen.
Now we have the Ohtani watch, which saw a tremendous job with this stinger. Look how excited Perrault is just getting to play it. He played it twice. He likes it. If he plays it twice, it's a guaranteed lock that he likes it. So if there's any question about that, you did good. But if we're going to talk about Ohtani every day, I love it.
When it's relevant.
Props to think about. Yeah. But what about the Angels, Perrault? They got a winning record. They're right there. Him and Trout both homered yesterday. Third time this season.
Back to back.
Are you buying the Angels yet?
No.
Why? What?
No.
Come on.
They're 41 and 33. They're 4.5 games back of the Rangers. They have a plus 25 run differential. They're 7-3 over their last 10. But the big thing is they're 20 and 14 at home. They have the best record. Well, not second best record behind the Rangers at home so far. So they're taking
division.
In the division. So they're taking care of business at home.
Where are
Houston
they at on the wild card right now?
For a wild card conversation, they have a wild card right now.
They're in.
Yeah, Orioles, Angels, Astros are the 3 wild card spots right now.
We're right there, baby. We're right there.
This is actually kind of crazy because the teams in the American League right now who are running for the wild card, Orioles, Angels, Astros have the spots. Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox Astros are tied with the Yankees for the 3rd spot. Blue Jays are a half a game back. Red Sox are 2 games back. Mariners are 3 games back. I mean, we have 7 teams for 3 spots. It's going to be a ridiculous summer as we find out who winds up getting into the playoffs.
And there's one division that was not represented in any of those 7 teams that you just mentioned.
Correct. That would be the Central, and the Guardians, Tigers, and White Sox are the other teams behind the Mariners at 5.5, 8, and 8.5 games back.
What a disaster the Central is, but what a race the wild card's going to be. It's going to change daily, give you something to pay attention to.
It's even deeper. It's even deeper in the National League because you have the Marlins, Giants, and Dodgers who right now occupy those 3 spots. But the Phillies, Reds, Padres, Pirates, Cubs, and Mets are all within 5.5 games of a wild card spot.
More quantity than quality in the.
That's 10 games. That's 10 teams. You have 10 teams for 3 spots in the National League.
Some teams are going to have to make some hard decisions in a couple weeks when it comes to the trade deadline.
Right.
We get to it because you're going to have to be like, are we really in or are we really just pretending right now? Like, we got 2 months more of baseball to figure this out, August, September. So it's still a lot of the way. I don't know. I'm bummed out about the Pirates.
Why?
They just they got swept by Milwaukee after getting it's like
they've lost 6 games in a row. I mean, but we saw it coming. We talked about this before, that we saw that they overperformed early in the year. Yeah. Schedule's getting more difficult.
Yeah.
And they need to make a trade for a pitcher. Mitch Keller needs some help. They need someone they need a 2 or a 3 starter to help them.
Yeah, they need another quality start a week. Like, just to breathe. The bullpen's getting beat up, man. The bullpen starting to give up way too many runs. They 2-1 in the 8th yesterday, leading Milwaukee, end up losing the game. It just, so I don't know. But the playoff race is going to be awesome. I'm in with the Angels. Like, if the season end today, they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, and again, not holding you to anything, but like June, what is today? The 20th? 19th? Yep. What is it? I don't know.
It's 19th.
Yeah, all right. Are the Angels making a playoffs, yes or no?
No.
You're saying no?
No.
Oh, man. I think Ohtani gets him in. I think all that talk about trading him and all that other stuff, it's going to not happen. He's going to make
I think they'll be in contention, but I think you're talking about the Astros and the Yankees, who are going to be 2 of the teams that are going to – I mean, I would be really surprised if the Yankees missed the playoffs or the Astros missed the playoffs. So now we're talking about 1 spot available. And I don't think the staying power. I mean, I think Red Sox, Blue Jays, Angels, Orioles all battling over 1 wild card spot. I think the back end pitching and bullpen of the Angels will be their detriment.
It's crazy to think about because the Rays are going to win the division
by running away with it.
Gone. Right. So all those good teams in the AL East got to fight for the wild card spots.
Yeah. I mean, the Rays have 51 wins, the fastest to 50 in their history, 50 wins over the weekend. They have 51 right now. They're 51-24. They're 31-7 at home. I mean, it's just dumb right now. Just bet the Rays in your parlays at home right now. Like,
they're so good. I mean, they lost yesterday. See that throw by Tatis, by the way, the throw out at home?
No.
He threw out a run. Oh, my Lord. It was old school, like really good arm from the outfield to basically save the game, win the game. He threw out Margot at the plate. It was electric. I mean, and then he did the whole thing with his, in his holster, and threw it off and put it in his pocket. I love what the kids do with the celebrations, but it was one of those great throws. The Rays lost, but they're winning the division. So I think, from a betting standpoint, we'll talk about this as we go throughout the summer and stuff, but you can grab futures on teams now that prices are going to go away. I mean, if the Red Sox get hot over the next 2 weeks and get in that spot, like their price is going to drop drastically. It fluctuates. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to be in the room because you can kind of create action. Like right now, I'd be giving away whatever price I could on the Pirates.
Oh,
I'm just bummed and worried that they're going to go away. Cincinnati's coming. Brommelkamp's on a good team. What is that, 8 in a row for Cincy? I think Cincy's won 8 in a row.
They have, yeah. I mean, the problem with Cincinnati, I just think they're hot. I mean, they've won 8 in a row. They're still underwater at home. They're 17-18 at home. They're 20-17 on the road.
Yeah.
Still have a negative run differential. I just think they're hot. I don't buy this is a staying power team with the Reds.
Only because it's that division.
Yeah, I mean, they could win the division. That's fine, and that might happen, but I don't buy them as like a legitimate, serious contender for the National League. I mean, the 2 games over 500.
Win the division, you get a 3-game series at home.
Yep.
In the first round.
Right.
You get the right matchup. You can win 2 of those games. Now you're live to make the next step.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, I'm not going to debate that. They're a fun team right now, but I think it's a little bit of a flash in the pan type of situation for them. So, let's talk some football. Brigade Proxy Service NFL story of the day. This is going to be a fun one, by the way, to get into because we've talked a lot about the NFL betting rules. So today, ProFootballTalk.com asked a pretty interesting question about, okay, NFL gambling policy, you are coming after these players like crazy, but according to how Pro Football Talk and how they're interpreting the NFL rules, there is nothing to stop a fired coach from betting on the team they just coached and them getting a job later in the offseason. But if you're fired mid-season and you know what's going on inside that locker room, you know what's really happening, you can bet to your heart's content. And there's no repercussions at all from it.
I mean, should there be?
Yes, I think there should be some idea of inside information. If you're a head coach of a football team,
you're not inside it.
Yeah, but you coach the team. You know what really is going on. There's no better inside information than you could get from a head coach of a football team who just got fired.
I don't think a book would be hesitant to take the action. I don't
really.
Yeah.
I mean, the book.
Frank wanted to play like.
But the books took the action from Calvin Ridley. The books took the books aren't afraid to take action from any player, really.
That's the reality of it. That's
so
clip that one.
The
books aren't. Most books that are taking bets are not afraid to take bets from anybody. Apparently, there's some books out there that are afraid to take books from everybody. They're limited. Do a lot of things that way. So, I don't know if I have a problem. Like, how far are we going to extend the policy? I know you like to, look at the rules and regulations of things. You play a lawyer sometimes here. counselor, should there be a policy for what? When you get fired mid-season, preseason, 1 year after, what would be your answer to this? You're frozen? Are you frozen? Can't hear you no more. Uh-oh.
You're back. I'm back. We're all
Okay,
back.
you're back. All right.
Wow, that was the first time we went blank. That was interesting.
No, I wasn't blank. You were frozen. I was like, I
No.
saw the whole time. So,
I was blank.
my question was, did you hear my question?
You want me to be the lawyer?
I want you to play the lawyer or policymaker.
Okay.
What is the answer for an ex-player or ex-coach, or like you get cut, you can't bet for a year on the league, you get cut, you get fired, you can't touch what, you can't bet ever. What is the answer?
Well, I'll read you the piece, the couple paragraphs from Pro Football Talk's article today that kind of highlights this. Mike Florio writes, consider this example. The NFL has a major and massive sponsorship with Olive Garden. Several owners are major stockholders in Olive Garden, but no NFL team or team employee is ever allowed to eat there. How hard would it be for the NFL to navigate the process of crafting, educating, and enforcing the no Olive Garden rule when the NFL and some of its owners are fully in bed with Olive Garden? Replace gambling book with Olive Garden.
Do you like Olive Garden?
I do not. It would be impossible to fully and properly compartmentalize the two. When it comes to gambling, the league will only be able to credibly and effectively create and enforce its gambling policy if and when the NFL completely and totally shuns any and all involvement with gambling. That horse, unfortunately, is already too far out of the barn, and he's munching on a feed bag full of items from the Olive Garden menu. The point being is, if you're financially incentivized for the book to do well, how are you able to actually fully enforce any of these policies on anyone with the NFL because of the fact that the line is now completely gone?
So one, they make a lot of the money as partners of the leagues on volume. It's not, a lot of times it's an upfront pay, and they pay the league a fee, a ridiculous fee.
Right.
And you're an official partner.
Right.
The other back end deals, which I don't know are fully advertised, are, you're an official partner of the league. Now we get to see your books and we get a percentage of your handle. So it's 2% of $1 billion or whatever that's why they like to pump up the handle. So then everybody eats. The whole thing is caca. I'll say Will and you a log because it's complete bull. You know what? Right. The whole thing is crap. They don't care about the betting on the NFL by whom. They just care to get more volume. I don't know what the answer is. Again, this isn't it. Like
Addison said, can we use Olive Garden in more hypotheticals, please?
He's right. That's great. Good job, Florio. That was good.
Well, I mean, you asked me, is Olive Garden good? I mean, Olive Garden is it's Olive Garden. It is what it is.
Long as you know what you're getting when you go to Olive Garden.
The soup is good. I like their soup. The minestrone soup is good. Soup and salad. Whenever I used to go there, I'd get soup and salad. That's all I
Pasta fajoule is good as well. And then the kids love the breadsticks.
Of course.
It's like when you go, though, and you get, like, the veal or whatever it is, and then you complain about it. You're like...
Right, you can't.
You're at Olive Garden.
Right. Like,
what did you expect?
Right. Like, what do you...
You have to temper your expectations when you go.
You know what you're going into.
Yes, and it used to be a lot affordable, too. Like, Olive Garden used to be a quality volume meal for the family. Right. Now it's a burial.
Because Olive Garden bought that other Italian place that you could write on. They had the paper on the table that you could draw on.
Something Cucino or something, right?
Yeah, like, so that once they realized they could charge more, they bought them out, and that was the more expensive version of Olive Garden.
Right.
Then they started to jack the prices up at Olive Garden because they realized people would pay more for it. So then they started to change things around. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't like eating Italian food out ever because I can make it better myself. So I get frustrated whenever I go out to eat. People like go out, I want Italian food. I'm like, why? I can make it better at my house. Like I'd rather go out to have a meal that I can't make, that you're making it better than I can make at home. So that's always it's why I don't like going out for Italian food to pay for it.
We had a great Italian meal at the place where we went with Steve with the Mololave cigars. That was good.
That place is great.
That was good.
That was phenomenal. I'm seeing Steve. I think in 10 days I'm seeing Steve. So
back east.
We got a little New Hampshire meetup coming up for us.
You better bring the envelope. Bartel, you better bring the envelope. That's all I'm telling you.
We're having some fun with Steve coming up on that. So, okay. Again, this is going to be a little bit of an abbreviated show, so we got a couple topics left. And then,
this is great.
And then we'll get to what's going to happen here. Okay, this is a little bit inside school, but we talk about this stuff a lot. I think people like it when we kind of get into this type of stuff because it's all over the place. This is what PointsBet put out this morning about what DraftKings has done. So, first, PointsBet was selling. We knew this. They went for sale. Yeah. Secondly, Fanatics came in and said, we're going to give you $150 million in cash for your
115. 115.
115? That was 150.
No. It was
115. Okay, so 115. DraftKings said, wait a second, we'll give you $195 million. Yeah. Before you do that deal, do our deal.
Yeah.
We'll give you $195. Out of nowhere, just came swooping in at the last moment before the sale got finalized. DraftKings said, we're going to drop a hammer. It is half the cash that DraftKings has on hand. They're going to pay to take this away from Fanatics. So there's this is a two-part conversation. The first part is, do you think DraftKings is afraid of Fanatics? And that's why they've made this decision to come in and buy it.
No. DraftKings isn't afraid of anybody. They're not afraid of even pissing off their own investors and blowing all the money. They're not afraid of anything.
So then why would you do this deal for PointsBet? Because the evaluation is nowhere near $195 million in cash. This is a no debt cash offer coming in here. This is like two people fighting over a house and one person financing and one person offering cash. Like, we'll just give it to you in cash right now.
Yep. Straw buyer. Right? Is that the term, a straw buyer? I don't think DraftKings wants this at all. I think they're trying to drive up the price of Fanatics Panics and doubles their offer and has to pay more than DraftKings to get it. Fanatics needs a way in. This is a way in with an established company that has licenses. Now, when they open the hood, they're going to go, wait a second. What is this? What is this shit?
Right.
We got a lemon. There's no lemon law when you buy a book.
Right.
There's no, you're going to check, but you see the numbers. I mean, we got guys that send the numbers. We got guys I read the numbers from different states every month. Not a lot of the states that I used to because the handle's dropping and it's just not important. We know who 1 and 2 are, and I don't really care who 3, 4, 5, and 6 are anymore. Because it doesn't matter. It's such a small number. Everybody's fighting for the morsels. Mm-hmm. This is Fanatics way in. I don't know. How do you see it? Do you see it like a competitive, like DraftKings is really trying to take PointsBet?
No, I think DraftKings is trying to stop Fanatics from coming into the marketplace. I think they realize that Fanatics has the guns. They've got the ammo to be a legitimate third contender. And DraftKings would like this to be a FanDuel versus DraftKings. When all the dust settles, it's a 2-horse race. And Fanatics coming in creates a legitimate, as you said, they have a way in, they get multiple states, multiple license, and they can come in and really start to impact, because Fanatics could be number 3. They could open at number 3 given the power they've got with their database.
With their database and their marketing. And, oh, by the way, they already are an established company that actually makes money.
Yeah.
Unlike a lot of the other big ones. So, DraftKings is, $1 billion in the hole? $1.5 billion. It doesn't matter at this point. They're Uber. They're going to spend until
they make money.
Over.
Right.
That's it. They're just going to, and then they're going to tell everybody they made money. And then they're going to try to get more money. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is what it is. Everybody can see it for what it is. there might be an inkling of that somewhere in the DraftKings boardroom, right? Where they go, we got to keep these guys out.
Yeah, I think if DraftKings playing defense, I think you're right too. I think you're right too. I think, hey, if we're gonna, it has to hurt Fanatics. If you're gonna get this, it has to hurt. So you got to spend $200 million to acquire a company that's worth a fourth of that. So that's gonna hurt. And then we're gonna try to, if you don't want it, we get to keep you out. And so it's a decision that it forces the hand of Fanatics to go, all right, well, what do we really want to do here? So I think it's a two-part issue. I think if DraftKings buys PointsBet, they're fine with it because they can take over another brand, keep them out, and also keep Fanatics out. And then if they lose out and Fanatics keeps it and gets it, it really hurt them. I just don't know if $200 million is a lot to Fanatics. And that's the thing. Like, we know at DraftKings, it's half their cash on hand to buy it. But if you buy any championship gear right now online for the Golden Knights or the Denver Nuggets, you're buying it from Fanatics.
Correct.
They have the rights to all of it.
So this is what happens, right? Like, I mean, just think of it in terms of a baseball player in free agency. One owner wants the guy. That's the price. The agent goes to the other team and says, "Tell them you're gonna bid." Well, what do you mean? We got to create a market. There was no market for PointsBet.
Right.
Fanatics was buying it.
Right.
So now somebody says to Johnny at PointsBet, "Listen, we're going to go to DraftKings and tell them to say they're going to buy it for $200 to $190 million and get the offer up, because Fanatics is going to pay." If I was Fanatics, I'd be like, you know what, take it.
Right.
Take
call
it.
their bluff. Yeah, call the bluff. Right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Go ahead, DraftKings. You can get deeper in that rabbit hole. We're going to find someone else that's going to, because it's not going to be the first one to go away.
Right.
To be offered to buy.
Right.
And it's not like the numbers going up, 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 up. I mean, sometimes you got to take the offer given to you. Would it totally surprise you to see PointsBet, when they look at DraftKings' offer, go, you know what? Not sure about this cash and all this other stuff. We're going to take the Fanatics offer.
I mean, maybe, but that would be if you're on. I don't know. PointsBet is still a private company, right? Entirely with Australia. It's just the board.
They got a lot of relationships with a lot of people here in the States with NBC Sports and all these other things. It's a way to get hold if they take the money and get profit. And, you know, I mean.
Well, it's profit either or. It's. I just wonder, do they want to go back?
At 115 or 190, they've spent way more than that.
Right.
They're not out. They're out of
So
business,
if that's the case, why wouldn't you take the larger offer? Take the bigger offer then.
That's what they're going to have to. If I think they're, I mean, I heard they're keeping their business in Australia, which, by the way,
they are.
You know, Leighton popped in from Australia on
Saturday. That was great.
Saturday, that was awesome. I would like to know from down there, what's the perception of PointsBet in Australia, because.
Oh, they own it. I mean, that's their home country. That's where they operate. That's their thing.
Okay.
Yeah, they own that. I mean, PointsBet. That's why they came over here, because they thought they could mimic what they did in Australia over here. Because points betting makes a lot more sense in sports like cricket, the way they offer it. They like it over there because the in-game, the way you structure it, the points betting that they tried to make a thing here never caught on, because people found it to be way too complicated and they lost their shirt doing it, because different sports don't make a lot of sense for it.
It's fantastic for football. It's
fantastic.
I mean, but you can get busted up.
Yep.
If you have to put a cap. You got to put a cap on the. We used to call them action points. If my buddy Butchie's watching, action points was a thing. We could never teach the programmers how to put it in a computer system to make it work. We had to handwrite all those bets. It was a major pain in the ass, but it's a fun thing, especially where there's more points scored. And as we learned from Leighton, cricket, there's more points scored in a cricket, and the swings are
wild,
crazy. You're not even entertaining the thought of doing the cricket betting, are you?
Not even. I couldn't even begin to explain to you. I couldn't even tell you what to bet on.
Okay.
Other than wins or losses, I have no idea.
No, I know, but like, you like to dive into stuff and like really educate yourself and learn. And Leighton put it out there, and I'm like, Leighton,
no.
Don't give him anything to do more
No,
Because
I'm
we gotta
trying
start
to
talking
figure out.
about cricket betting. I'm like,
I'm trying to figure out whether I'm going to bet CFL and WNBA. Right now, CFL scoring has me saying I'm not interested in betting on this because it's completely wonky nonsense, and I'll get angry and frustrated. So maybe WNBA is the way that I'm going to go. But
bet on the Aces every game.
I went
Doesn't
five.
matter
I
what
went
you make
5
the
and 2.
line.
Baseball went. I'm 5-2 over my last 7 baseball bets.
Look at you.
So maybe baseball turned.
We're
just
back, baby.
Maybe baseball turned a little bit
We're
on me
back.
on that. All right, time for better to book it a little earlier than normal because we're doing a different type of show here today. So, the Tennessee money line bet that I made is in deep trouble. It's 4-0. Stanford leading top 5.
Yeah.
Elimination game here. Tennessee, I have a 10-1 ticket on Tennessee to win the whole thing. It could be out the window. And I bet on Tennessee today to win on the money line as well.
Yeah.
So you can get Tennessee live in game right now at plus 2.5 runs. May not be a bad bet to come in here to see what happens. But the bats for Tennessee have been ice cold, and their pitchers giving up 4 runs. That's somewhat shocking, to be quite honest, when it comes to that. 2 bets in Major League Baseball to give you.
Okay.
The Twins against the Red Sox. I'm going to go and ride
Wait a second. The Twins are playing the Red Sox who just swept the Yankees, and you're going to play the Twins?
Yeah, because the trend of teams coming off of Sunday Night Baseball losing is crazy, and they played a doubleheader yesterday on top of that. Red Sox are going to be tired here tonight.
In Minnesota.
What's
the pitching matchup?
Paxton is going for the Red Sox, who has been not horrible. But they've lost 3 of the 4 starts. 3 of his last 4 starts they have lost.
Okay.
With Paxton pitching. And Pablo Lopez is going for the Twins. The Twins have won 3 of their last 4 starts when Pablo Lopez has pitched.
Opener minus 128?
Yep.
Is that what it was last night?
Yep.
What's current number right now?
Current number right now is...
I'll have all that set up, and I'll be able to look at that tomorrow.
That's fine. Current number is minus 145.
That's the side.
So.
Yeah, that's probably the right side. Although, I don't know. So let me think about this. So that's the side that people bet.
Everyone's betting this trend. All the pros are betting against Sunday night team that played on Sunday Night Baseball.
Right.
The next day, they lose a lot.
All right, I'll be the glutton for punishment. I'll book it.
Doubleheader.
I'll be like
Sox are tired. Yes, Sox are tired.
This would be one of those ones where you just sit and take it, and the Sox win 6-2, and you go home early, and you go, yeah, I'm good. Thank you. We'll take it.
I like the Twins tonight. And then only one other bet. First 5, over 5.
What does that say? Royals and Tigers?
It's
You're
Jordan.
desperate.
No, it's Lyles Day, baby. It's Jordan Lyles Day.
Oh. That's all you had to tell me.
It's Lyles. It's Lyles against Olsen. Yeah. So it's 5. It was 4.5. At most books, it was 4.5. Heavy juice to the over.
Yeah.
And then it was 5. At different books, they're putting up 5 minus 115. So it's fine. Push potential, but Olsen's going as well. Olsen's not been great either for the Tigers, but you have the Royals. Jordan Lyles.
What's the total in the game? Full game. Is it 10?
Full game now is 8. No, sorry. No, excuse me. Sorry, wrong one. 9. It's 9.
10.
It's 9.
Wait a second. His game is 9, and they moved the first 5 to 5?
Yep. Because it's Jordan Lyles.
I understand. Like, that's a bit egregious. That's giving you the old...
Well, it gives you a push potential. 4.5 cashes. So if you want to just take 4.5, you can. But Jordan Lyles is 0-11 with a 6.89 ERA. His last 5 starts, he's given up 5, 5, 1, 5, and 4 earned runs.
Oh, my.
So
I need my head examined if I say to book this one.
We just want
I'll
Jordan.
lose, bet.
Right, exactly. If you lose it, you're fine with it. You're like, okay, fine. You lose, you just tip your cap and go, that's fine. Reese Olson's pitching for the Tigers. He's 0-2 with a 6.08 ERA. In his last start at home against the Braves, 3 1/3 innings worth of work, 6 earned runs given up.
Dear Lord.
So that's why
this might be one of those like first 3, first 5 game all over, ladder the whole thing.
I'd be careful of the 9 though. I mean, I think there could be after the starters come out, the scoring could slow down. But
team total over. Team total Tigers over.
Team total Tigers
4.5.
4.5, yeah.
With juice to the over.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that. I mean, listen, there's only a matter of time before one, the content space starts talking about this Lyles thing, and it already is.
Oh, they already are.
Two,
I mean, that was our friend at Wager Talk, Ralph, already put it out today. They're 0-14.
Damn it, Ralph.
They're 0-14 in games started by Jordan Lyles, the Royals this year.
Yeah, see, it's only a matter of time before they take him out of the rotation. We have to take advantage of these situations while they still
JC
exist.
from KC said that they got 2 pitchers on the IL right now, and when they come off, that he expects that they will DFA Jordan Lyles. Total runs Tigers is 4.5 minus 120 for the game.
Over
minus 120. Yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad bet.
No.
That's not a bad bet. What's the is there a first 5 total team total?
First 5 team total. Yes.
First 5 team total. We could get a 2.5 or 3.
Oh, let's see. FanDuel.
It's probably 2.5. I would guess.
Tigers are minus 152 on the money line. Total runs now is 5.5. By the way, at FanDuel. It's now 5.
They're watching the show, even on vacation, even in the summer. They're watching the show. Guys, thank you for watching the show. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I ain't even got my on screen or nothing here yet. I was just worried about getting out here and getting the shot set up. And now they're moving a number while we're talking about it.
So there you go. 5.5. 5. There is no individual team total for the game at FanDuel at the moment.
Individual team total with
first
the first 5.
Yeah, there's no. They don't have that up.
If there is, guys, put it in the Discord or send it out, because I think there is a book. Or
there is. Raymaker said, it's 2.5. Tigers 2.5. First 5.
Juice over.
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Okay, all right. Lou's on it. I knew Lou would be on it.
So at least it's whatever book he's looking at. First 5 teams. That's probably BetMGM is probably the book. They tend to do a lot of that, where they'll give you opportunities to ladder.
You had talked about it being a 2-horse race in the sportsbook world, like with this PointsBet sale and stuff. BetMGM is going to be number 3, right? Like they're going to hang around long enough. Their spend is long enough. They're going to be there, right?
Anyone who has a brick and mortar business will be in the sports betting game for the long run.
Caesars, another one.
Those 4.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
FanDuel and DraftKings, because they don't have brick and mortars and they don't have other ways of funding the business, they will be forced to be the odds, the 2-horse long shot way above. But Caesars and BetMGM will always have books. They will always be in business. They will not go anywhere. They don't care what DraftKings and FanDuel. They can beat the hell out of each other for all they care. They will stay, and the properties will use the book the way that it's been used in Vegas for years. It's not the cash cow required must make money portion. Even if you lose money, it's fine because you have to offer it, because the guy in the pit who's playing $50,000 a hand wants to go bet a baseball game. You'll walk him over and let him go bet a baseball game. So those books have a different business model because they have hotel properties, restaurants, everything else.
Right.
Sports betting is just a small little piece of their overall pie. FanDuel and DraftKings, they've got DFS and they got gambling, sports gambling, and that's it. So their spend and their requirements for
they have iCasino too. Right?
Well, that's true, the iCasino, but we don't. I mean, only 4 states have that, so we need to see how many more states will come up with the iCasino stuff, and that could be big. But I know BetMGM and Caesars are not going anywhere. They will always be in the game.
Yeah.
If you have brick and mortar, so you're making good money off of. Bring people in. I mean, Circa, same deal, right? I mean, Circa, same thing. If you have a property, you're bringing people in. Westgate, same thing. You got a property, you got hotel rooms, you got other things, restaurants and whatnot. You're bringing people in. So people that have used sports betting the way it's always made money, they'll be around. They're not going anywhere. It's the idea that you could just be on this, just be on the phone. That's the difference.
I mean, it's going to continue to be the difference too. And the user experience, I've only used PointsBet from a distance.
Right.
I don't know if it's enough to say, like, I mean, the DraftKings and FanDuel experience on the phone is pretty good. If DraftKings
really
turns that PointsBet into that experience, that will help. I can't wait to see what Fanatics does with that whole thing.
Agreed.
And the news be a hard part, right?
And in Vegas, when people are coming to Vegas, I mean, I've only heard good things so far. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. But Caesars is new, not William Hill, but Caesars' new sports betting app.
Yep.
Is getting some real big reviews, thumbs up reviews here in Vegas, in Nevada, for what they launched last week.
It's different. The menus are deep.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to find out really quick that a lot of the guys that you and I both know are going to be unable to bet. They're going to get profiled very quickly on those menus, and they're not going to be able to bet what they normally like to bet. And that's the other end of the business that I think is a very difficult one to monetize or discuss when you're new. If Fanatics gets PointsBet, they already have that and can take that information and implement it into their own, whereas, you know, DraftKings is doing it their own way too. It's a crazy time in the business right now.
Favorite thing about today is what?
The show. The show. You got me out of a crazy-ass hotel room. It was freezing. We had to move from one room today to another room tomorrow because something wasn't ready and we had to do this stuff. So I had 3 daughters of my own and 7 nieces and nephews in town last night in a room with my brother Doug, who's going to come on the show hopefully tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Brother Smoke, who maybe will come on the show. Brother Smoke is a little more reserved.
Okay.
My sisters, Dina and Dara, my wife, Jessica. Chaos. And I know the entire time, my mom was there for a while until my mom finally, at 75, said, David, can you walk me to my car? I said, Mom, absolutely, let's go. She was the first one out. She had enough. And while we were walking, I said, do you think Dad was watching all this? Because that was the house we grew up in. 5 kids. We always had everybody over to our house. So my mom and I were just laughing, basically talking to my dad while we were walking to the car going, this is what he would have wanted. This is what he used to sit in the corner of the couch after we would all be sitting there, and his hands would be on his chest like this, and he had this smile, just like looking. And I'd be like, Dad, what are you smiling on? What are you laughing at? He's like, nothing.
Yeah.
He was such a proud dad to see all of the, basically, that he created. And and my mom and I said, we did the right thing. I'm glad to be here for the week, you know, a couple days and see everybody. It was an awesome.
Very cool. That's awesome. For me, it's one, if you're celebrating Juneteenth, happy Juneteenth. I don't know. It's a brand new holiday. I'm learning all about it still.
You told me about it.
Yeah. So it's a federal holiday today. I think it's only year 2 or 3 of the federal holiday. So that's all. Things are all kind of a little bit wonky on that, from like what's open, what's not, and no one's around. And I went out and got a coffee this morning, and I was like, where is everyone? And I was like, oh, wait. And someone's like, it's a holiday. I was like, it's a holiday. It's like, oh, that's right. It's Juneteenth. I didn't know that. So if you are celebrating that, it's a pretty amazing story. So go read about it as to why now it's a federal holiday. 2, Madeline and I went and saw the movie. We did a little movie review, which is really pretty fun because a bunch of people on Twitter are now like, you guys need to do more of these because my kid, we were going to go to the movies. Now we're not because we don't want to go see Elemental because Madeline kept on calling it cringy. So it was pretty fun to see that.
Some money.
Save people some money. So, you know, and so we put that out over the weekend. That was cool to see kind of that whole thing. And then we saw Megan O'Leary over the weekend with her and her mom who were in town. So we bumped in there at the farmer's market after we saw you. We went over to the farmer's market from our meeting on Saturday and saw Megan O'Leary. Her mother was in town. So it was neat. And Madeline like immediately recognized her from UFC fights. And it was kind of neat. She's like, I've seen you on TV. Our kids are very much living different lives than most people.
I have no idea.
Because she thought it was very normal that like my dad is friends with a person she watches every Saturday on TV on ESPN, and she's like, "Oh, I watch fights. I see you all the time. Hi." Like very normal. I was like, "This is so Vegas that it's just a very typical thing." So it's fun to bump into her, and it's, you know, we'll have to get Anik back on the show at some point.
Yep.
You're coming with me in 2 weeks, right? To the fights?
The thing in Vegas.
UFC Fight Week, July 6th, right?
Yeah. That's
going to be that.
You come back. That's 2 weeks. That's not this week.
No,
That's
2 weeks. Correct. Yes, it's July 8th. Actually, I think it's a Saturday night, July 8th.
Together. Right. Yes. You get the things, and we'll go. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's going to be a really fun event happening here. Double fight. Brandon Moreno fighting. I cannot wait for that. We got Crawford and Spence happening. So July is happening around the corner. So it's pretty exciting. So we're doing.
I have a question to ask you before we go.
Okay.
You've been alone for 24 hours now, going on 48 hours.
Correct.
One, how the dogs, and two, what are you doing all night and day, like other than the show? Like, what are we? I mean, because I got a text, a DM. I'm like, no, he's not having title shots. He's not. And
No.
people were like, no, he's working his ass off, is what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really, really sore. So I hurt my shoulder. So we came home from the movie, and it was 10:30 at night. We had just gone and run around like crazy. We went and had dinner. Madeline and I were celebrating Father's Day, but I still had to do a 45-minute workout. So I was doing a workout, and then I heard a pop in my shoulder, like an audible crunching sound in my shoulder. And I was like, literally, like, for the rest of the night after I was done with the workout, like Googling, like, what does this mean? Is it rotator cuff? Is it a cold muscle? Whatever it might be. Nothing all that serious. I never heard anything like that before in my shoulder before. It was pretty freaky. So now it's just about, I'm super sore. like at the end of this is hard. Okay. I'm not going to lie. The hard 75, these last 10 days are going to be, I'm on day 64. Like, this is hard. Like, I am craving things I have not eaten in a really long time. I want a donut more than anything in the world. Like, I really want a donut. Like, I really, really, really want a donut. And I really, really, really want to go get wings. And I really want all these things. And I'm just like trying to keep myself as focused and as locked in. So one, I work out. I wake up in the morning. I go for a run for 45 minutes. Shower, change, do the show, blah, 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 then get off. We'll do all the different things I got to do for the show. And then I go back to the gym at about 7, 8 o'clock at night for another workout. Then I come home and I do the juice. Like, that's my day. So, like, I have like all of like 4 hours of downtime throughout the day to do whatever else I want to do, which is very little. So people forget how long it takes me at night to do the juice. Like, it takes me an hour and a half to do all that. I got to do the prep, do the stuff. I record it, I edit it, I post it. Like, it's all, it's a multiple hour thing every single night that I'm doing when I'm posting the daily juice. So, like, that cuts into my lifestyle, whatever I want to go ahead and do. I'm not drinking, so I can't drink. So none of that.
Right.
So it's there's none of that going on. So, that's kind of what I'm into. The dogs are fine. But like, when I leave, like, that's what I was telling my ex. I was like, you got to figure out what to do with the dogs. Like I'm leaving, you're coming back. I'm going there where you are. I'm coming back. Up to you to figure it out. So I saw her. I was dropping Madeline off when they were going to the airport. I was like, what are you doing with the dogs? She's like, I don't know yet. I was like, okay. I was like, let's see how that goes. I was like, I'm on a plane on June 27th. Just FYI, I'm on a plane 9:30 in the morning, June 27th. Like, I'm flying back to Boston. So, like, you got to figure
take pictures of the dogs before you go, just in case we need them for evidence later. Just saying.
So, like, I mean, it's really funny. I've asked friends of mine, like, how do you handle like divorces and how do you handle your exes? Because, like, when this happened last year and I went home for a week, or it was Christmas or something, I let her stay here. And now I'm not doing that anymore. I've changed my opinion on that.
I'm not letting you do that.
Yeah. I'm like, no. We can't do that. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I can't let you just stay here for a week. Like, it can't go down that way. No. She's like, no. I was like, nah. I was like, I'll let you watch the dogs or come in and like take them for walks or whatnot. And I got cameras everywhere. But like, I was like, I can't stomach that right now. I'm like, sorry. Like, that's just, we're not in that spot any like we were before. So the dogs will be an interesting thing to watch while I'm back in Boston, how that goes.
When I was in Columbus, brother Doug had an issue because he's a single dad like you now. And, he's got 2 dogs, and I said, why don't you just have her come over and let the dogs out? And he's like, I think she'd come over and either poison the dogs, or she would say she
Burn
would
the
come
house
over and never come over. And
Yep.
then, I said, "Oh, understood." So
I hear that.
understand. That's
These
why I
are
asked
her.
about
The one
dogs.
difference is these are her dogs, and I'm just watching them because where she's living, she can't have them.
Yeah.
So I'm babysitting full time essentially for these dogs, and they're fine, and you know I adopted them and I raised them from puppies and whatnot. So like I have a long standing relationship with them, but like ultimately. I want them because I want a dog for Madeline. I want to get a real dog, and like I want to do that at some point in 2023.
Right.
These dogs go, and then we'll get a puppy. We'll get like a full blown like what you guys have, and we'll do a whole like raising a dog for Maddie to have like a big dog. I'm not a small dog person. I'm not really a Chihuahua person. I'm more of a. I've always had larger dogs.
Yeah.
So it's awesome because Dave's Daily Picks, the canine guys from Indiana.
Yeah.
So I've said different things about types of dogs I wanted, and they came right at me and were like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, try that breed, try this breed, try that breed. So they're working.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so they're working with me as to what we're gonna wind up getting. So it's a black mouth something. I forget the name of the dog that they recommended. Black mouth something. Yeah, it's really cute. They're cute puppies. And they're like, this is a great dog. You should get this is smart, athletic, loyal, not crazy. So they said a Belgian Mal was a bad idea, is what they said to me. They said, don't do that. It's a bad idea. I was like,
Trust the dog, guys.
Correct. Trust the dog.
We got guys all over the place in a lot of different avenues.
Yeah, we do.
And things. I can't thank them enough. Again, for one, watching the show, liking the show, subscribe, but offering your guidance and advice on your dogs. Life expertise.
Awesome.
Like, you know, we got gamblers, we got card guys, we got dog guys, we got a lot of guys and stuff. It's great.
It's amazingly enough, we filled the show for Sports Grid, so everybody gets this. We did the whole show.
Will.
You're welcome, Will. No full.
Thank
We're
you.
back tomorrow.
Thank you,
Dave will be back in Arizona. I'm still in Las Vegas. BVB show on the Discord channel. Come on over and hang out with us some more. BVB on a Tuesday. Back with Dave in Arizona. Me here in Vegas. Tomorrow here for Sports Grid YouTube and Twitter all at once. Saying bye. He's Dave. I'm Matt.